Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Cities Skylines 2, where we are in the city of Tampere. And I just want to start off by going over some of the things we did in the last episode. I absolutely love what we did to this waterfront. We ended up adding in the football field, and I did a little fan zone with a walking area. So we can kind of imagine, like, during big games, this would just be packed with people, and people would be kind of walking in and, ordering hot dogs or getting some hamburgers or whatever fanfare food that there is available. Over here, we ended up doing a water park, and then I did some high-rise commercial kind of going around, and I really like the look of this. I think it just looks really cool, and I'm actually going to try to start focusing a little bit more on the first-person view. It's really hard to kind of get in there, but I think it provides like a really cool look of the city, and this is definitely a huge upgrade over Cities Skylines 1. And Cities Skylines 1, the first-person view was not very great. It definitely didn't look like this, and so this is something that we're going to be trying to incorporate in more of our city, especially with how cool this looks. Like, man, this all just looks so great. It almost looks better now from the first person view than it does from the above view, especially with all the small little details and everything. I just love it. And so let's jump out of here. We'll let this simoleon go on their way and look at some of the other things. So I did a big custom park over here. I added in my own little decals and stuff and just kind of extended some of this concrete. I did a festival area, and I think this looks really cool. And I actually did designate it as a park zone. You'll kind of see some people walking through here. And as of right now, they are able to just kind of walk through the fences, which I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of, but I do like that they're able to walk in here. I like that we got these little couches in here too. I think that's a really cool touch. I like that we did this a couple episodes ago as well. It's really looking cool. We still do have some stuff to go on the backside. I'm still kind of playing around with some ideas. We're actually going to pivot. And so I did do a couple things in between episodes. The waste management company ended up doing a huge expansion. I was going to show this in an episode, but I felt like it was just kind of a waste of time. It was just easier for me to kind of throw it in there. So I ended up expanding our landfill with a new building. I added in the hazardous waste collection point, and I upgraded for the waste recycling unit. I didn't realize we didn't have it. And then they ended up building another recycle center off this backside to kind of help supplement this one, just because our garbage was getting a little out of hand. They did also expand into an industrial waste complex. And this is actually a pretty cool building. I'm not entirely sure exactly what it does. A part of me feels like it only collects industrial waste, but it also doesn't really show you how or what it does. Because, I mean, in the actual panel, it increases your garbage processing status significantly. So it kind of gives the impression that maybe it does pick up all the trash. But either way, it's a cool looking building. I did add in some commercial and some more industrial around here. Kind of sprinkled it around with some trees, and I think that looks pretty good. We're actually going to get a lot done today, and so let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so on the docket today, we are going to be building out this area, and I got some really fun ideas. I think it's going to be crazy. I'm excited for you guys to see. The big key is we're going to be building the university. We don't have any university access right now, and we're a pretty large city to not have something like this, and so I think it's something that has been kind of long overdue. And so I am in the level terrain tool, and what we're going to do is just kind of lay out a path here. What I'm thinking is we're going to draw this road. And I actually wanted to kind of go over the water here, just because I think it's going to provide a really cool look, and it's going to open up some more space for us to build up here. We're also going to be building a bridge going across here. As we expand out this area, we definitely need to increase the connectivity across this water. This is causing a pretty big bottleneck right now. So right now, anybody who needs to go over here has to go through our city or around it. And so this is just unnecessary traffic. We don't want those people having to go through the city if they don't want to. Now that we have that, let's go ahead and start drawing out this bottom road layout. So we're going to turn this way, and then what we're going to do, we want to kind of line it up with that curve up ahead. So we're going to go just like that, and then let's go ahead and go straight. And I don't really want it to go off the ground. I would prefer to stay on the ground. I feel like that's pretty important. And so now what we'll do is we will lift this up just a little bit. We don't want to get too crazy. You can kind of see we're definitely going to have a little bit of an incline, which isn't necessarily the end of the world. But what I want to do is just create enough room for us to be able to get it over here. And we can maybe even lower it down a smidge. Yeah, we look about even right there at 0.2% grade difference. And then let's go ahead and add this to the ground now. And then we can kind of meander this around. We're not going to really play around with this side too much today. But overall, I think this looks really cool. So I like that we got this kind of bending around. I'm almost tempted to just have this connect up and then go straight. I think that could be interesting. I wonder, we're gonna get rid of some of these buildings. These people are probably going to be super upset. But what I'm thinking is we can extend this out. So if we go right here. And let's go ahead and turn on anarchy so that we can get this appropriately. All right, just a few seconds later, I was able to fix that. And you can kind of see I did arch this a little bit further than it was initially. I think this is going to really provide some cool buildable area because now we can kind of build on this side too, which is fun. So we are going to be carving away at this hillside, and you really got to be careful whenever doing this. It's easy to kind of get ahead and in my opinion, make it look not as realistic. And this is something that does happen, especially in wealthier cities where people have the funds available to be able to purchase land on something like this. And so this would be where you would get like homes and stuff like that, just some really crazy builds. Like I know in Las Vegas, where I'm from, there's a huge development going on right now that involves terracing on the city. And so terracing on one of the mountains. And it looks kind of cool. They've been doing it for a long time. It's definitely going to be like multi-million-dollar homes, so it's not really accessible for the average person, but it still kind of looks cool to look at. And because this is a little bit higher, what I want to do is actually create a step that's going to be in the middle. So I'm going to try to find the middle of both of these. I'm actually going to click right about there. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring this all the way out to the edge. And you see how this is just a little bit too high. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring this back. And I think this is going to be potentially where we put the university. Because I think it would be smart if we did another step in here. So if we went just like this. And so I do want this to be level with that now. And what we're going to do is have this kind of follow the hillside around. And this is how you can get it to look a little bit more natural if you follow some of the curves of the hillside. Now, there obviously is going to be, areas that you can't do this perfectly, and that's okay. Yeah, you know what? I think this looks really cool. I think this is already looking good. I am tempted to just remove all the trees. Every time I do, the game kind of has a little bit of an issue though. And so I've definitely adapted to where I don't remove the trees. Better just to keep the trees for right now, just because of game optimization and using mods and stuff like that. And then I want to leave enough room in here for some homes. This would be really expensive real estate. And one of the ways that they would fund this project is through selling the homes. Like this would be really expensive. All right, so just a few moments later, I am finished. And I did carve out a little bit more than I was hoping to. We're going to actually come back through here and make a lot of this look like mountains once we are done. I just want to be able to get this university in here. And so we're actually going to go down to the progression panel now, go into the development tab and go into education and research. So I want to unlock the university as well as the medical university. We are definitely a medical focused town. And so I felt like dropping in the medical university was just going to make a whole lot of sense. And so looking at this land now, what I'm thinking, I would really like to get a curve coming off of that high school down here, but I'm thinking this is just going to be a little bit too tough. So if we grab this now, let's go ahead and bring this all the way back. And I want to try to do something fun with this hilltop. If you guys have any ideas, go ahead and let me know. So I think we will now go straight, go just like that. And then let's see about placing this in here. I think that it goes, yeah, this way it does. So if we go just like this, and of course we unlock the pharmaceutical production building, and that's actually a really cool building. We're going to try to want to place it in here somewhere. And so now let's go ahead and carve out just a little bit of this. And this is actually going to create a really fun look in here. All right, so what we're going to do is move it, and I just want to slide this over a little bit. We don't need to get too crazy with this. We just want to create a road coming down. And so what I'm thinking is we're going to have two one-way roads, and we're going to need to level out a small portion of this real quick. So we will level out this, and then let's go ahead and check out this road too, because the slant starts right about here, and we're going to need it to be just a little bit further up. So if we go like right here, and you can kind of see there's a little bit of drop in elevation. And so what that does, that tells me that it's not going to be level. So we want to raise that up, and then we are going to come down this way and then turn and then have this connect up as well. This is going to be a really nice connection. This is something that you really got to think about whenever you're building out your cities. So now we are going to upgrade these to the 3-lane one-ways, and we do need to still connect this back up. So we will have this go straight. I do want it to be right there. Perfect. It looks like we're going to have just a little bit of wonkiness in this. But that's not the end of the world. I'm going to just let it go for right now. And so what I would like is for this to come down and then potentially connect up with this right here. So we're going to have to jump in to move it. And let's go ahead and just rotate this just a smidge, because I want it to be kind of parallel with this road. So then we will have this go this way, and then let's go ahead and curve it and have it connect up. And voila, there is our main connection already, which is looking fantastic. And so now we will come back this way. Let's go ahead and connect up our road, and it does look like we got a little bit of some movement in the ground there. It's not the end of the world, but it's definitely something that I don't want to have for right there. So then let's go ahead and drop this down to the ground. That's why we were having some of those issues. Fantastic. And so now we need to start working on some of our layers. So I know I want that top one to be our first layer. So we're actually going to go just like this. And then we want to have enough space on here to be able to do some housing and stuff like that. I kind of wish this was just a little bit further back. I'm wondering if maybe we can either shift this over or create just a little bit more space down here. Oh, you know, we'll keep it like that. Let's go ahead and check out some of our roads, and then we can start playing around with the road layout. And we can always come back and change these. That's one of the big things. You don't want to think that anything is permanent. It never really is. You can always come back and change. It's definitely not as permanent as it is for actual city planners. So we're going to go like this. We are going to connect that up, come all the way back, and I want this to go parallel with the other roads. And one of the ways we're going to do that is just by going off of the road. So I'm going to connect this up, go all the way out. You can kind of see with that circle, what I'm going for is for it to be about 5 to 6 squares of zoning off of each. And it's just because it's going to help create a really fun look in there. So we'll go just like this. And we did get a little bit smaller of zoning for that one side, which is a little bit frustrating. So we're going to go ahead and turn off all these. And I'm just going to turn off 90 degree and snap to existing geometry. This is just going to help us to capture that better look in there. So we will bring this out now, go just like that. Go ahead and connect this up. Fantastic. This is already looking pretty good. So we will go just like this. And then what that does is it kind of gives us a framework for our top section now. All right, so I think this looks pretty good. I ended up turning this into a key wall going along this direction. And so now what I would like to do is kind of draw in some of these roads just to get a general idea of what we're working with in terms of terrain. And so I'm going to do my best to follow this ledge right here, and you can kind of see where we get a little bit of bumps. What we're going to do is come back through and actually fix them up a little bit, and it's really going to help out if we can draw them in first. This is just one of the easiest ways to draw in keys. So what we'll do is we'll draw that in, and I think a lot of you guys have probably already seen this, but you just clean up the edge real quick. With the mods that I have, I don't really need to do this. I just want to show you guys how to get it done. So we will go like that, and then let's go ahead and right click right there, have this go all the way down. And then now what we can do is actually just draw this road in. And as long as we're not going to have any sort of major changes in that elevation, this should come out quite right. And so that actually looks pretty good. Now what we're going to do is go into road services and hit that key and give this upgrade. All right, so now what we will do is do the same thing over here, but I want to kind of I want to give it a little bit of a unique look. So we're going to draw this down, and I want it to go like right about here. Then we're going to have it go back, and I want to provide about 5 to 6 squares worth of zoning off of this side. So we really want to be careful. And there we go. And so that actually looks okay. We actually got a little bit of a bridge in there too, which is kind of cool. I think we may even keep that little bridge, but we'll see what it does after we upgrade it. Yeah, so it's going to allow me to upgrade it, so I'm not going to keep it. We don't have to. So we're going to upgrade this all the way down, and we do have a little bit of a dip we're going to want to deal with in here. What we could do is go into Move It Mod and see if we can just kind of shift it around. So we will grab that. Let's go ahead and go down. We want to remove that curve. And I really like how there's actually 2 circles, so it kind of shows you where it's level. So we will bring this up. Let's go ahead and bring that circle in. Yeah, you know, that actually looks okay. I kind of wish it was a little more perfect. I wonder if we can get this middle one to be even better. And I ended up just redrawing it in. It was going to be a little bit easier that way. Now what we can do is go into the level terrain tool, and let's go ahead and clean up that edge just so we can kind of see what we're working with. One of the cool things with this is you can always go back and play around with your edges because it can definitely be kind of tricky to make something like this look good. And so I think that looks okay. I kind of wish we had a little bit more space in here. I'm really not satisfied with the amount of space we have in here. So I think what I'm going to do is just spread this out real quick. All right, so after a little bit of finagling, I think I finally settled on a design that I like. I did end up having to move some of these, and I'm not particularly a huge fan of this, but I do like that we have a little bit of a square bout going on here, except for this road. This road is the only road that is bi-directional. So this is one way, this is one way, this is one way, and this is going to really help to kind of push that traffic. I did also have this one dump into this lower road, and so it's just going to help us to provide a little bit of connectivity for this area. So we do need to have a road connect up on the other side of this as well. So what I'm going to do is have this go all the way around. And then what I'll do is just have a road kind of follow it down and connect up to the other side. And just a few seconds later, I got that road in. And so I would like to have this road also dump into the smaller road just for the sake of connectivity. So what I'm going to do is right click all the way down here, and I'm going to try to have this go all the way down into the smoothest transition that we can make happen. And you know what? I think that looks pretty good. We do still need to clean up some of these edges in here, but this really isn't the end of the world. We need to start drawing in some roads. And so what I want to do, we are going to jump into a road, and I want to do some of these small alleyways. We're going to do residential in here. We'll probably have a small little commercial area, but most of this is going to be residential. This would be really expensive real estate. So we're going to come down here now, and then let's go ahead and have this dump in. Let's check that out just to see how it looks. Yeah, you know what? That actually looks pretty interesting. I do want to fix this curve, though. When I first came off of that road, it just did not land the way that I was hoping it to. So now we will come all the way down here, and let's go ahead and connect this up. I just decided to extend it out a little bit further so that we could get some more of these cul-de-sacs in here. So I do want this to continue going the same direction. So what I'm going to do is come off of here at a 90. And I'm first going to turn off snapping and then turn on snap to existing geometry and 90-degree angles. This is slowly becoming one of my favorite tools for the snapping, for all the snapping options. And it's just because it really helps us to capture some fun looks, especially if we can get it in there correctly. So we will go like this. Let's go ahead and go like that. Perfect. And we just want to connect some of these up to provide some connectivity in there. That actually looks pretty good. I like the overall appeal. I am tempted to have this continue going like this. I wonder if we are going to be able to do this and have it look okay. So if we have this go like that, have this go like this, let's maybe have this curve. So if we go this way, and I want to turn on that, and then that way we can have it go that way. So now let's go ahead and add in some of those up here as well. We're going to kind of follow that same methodology and just have some cul-de-sacs go up. We are going to probably have a few small bits of commercial in here. So we will go like this, and then I think what we're going to do is come off of this plane, go straight, curve, connect up right there, and then go straight again. And then let's go ahead and have this one just connect all the way up. Why not? And this is already looking pretty good. I like the overall appeal of this. I think that it's really going to provide some good looking housing. And voila, this is already looking pretty good. You can see just by having these little cul-de-sacs, it definitely creates a pretty fun little look in there too. And this is something that I do often use quite a bit. It's kind of funny. We're dealing with a little bit of land here. If you're ever having that issue with your key walls, it just means that the land is a little bit too close to the road. So you definitely want the land to be at the middle or a little bit beyond the middle of the road in order to read correctly. And so I think that's probably good. And then for this top section, we will follow that same idea, go all the way down. And I did leave this space kind of on a hill. I think we're going to end up adding in a schooling area over there. So I think for right now, this is probably good. We have a few areas identified as maybe commercial areas. Like I think we're going to do commercial down here, maybe a little commercial area up here. We do have some overall connectivity too. I wish that these roads were parallel. I think this is going to bother me a little bit. But you know what? We're going to go ahead and leave it like that for right now. Maybe we could even have this curve a little bit better to kind of clean it up. Maybe dump into that road a little bit sooner. And there we are. Just a few seconds later, I was able to fix that. It's kind of funny. I was going to leave it and I was like, you know what? No, this is going to bother me. Those little things, a lot of times, those small little details can just kind of throw off your whole vibe. And so I think so far this is looking fantastic. All right, so I do want to add in a couple of the secondary buildings. For some reason, whenever you add in the extension wing, it just doesn't provide pedestrian access right now. And so what I'm going to do is put in a practice clinic on this side. I'm going to do a practice clinic on that side. And the reason I'm doing that is because it has a really good bonus, plus 5% health within 1 kilometer. So within 1 kilometer, I mean, I would assume this would probably cover at least half of our downtown, which is a fantastic bonus to have. And then the research facility actually gives a buff to the graduation rates. All right, so I think this is looking pretty good. I think we should go ahead and take a step back. We want to start working on some of the broader infrastructure for this area before we really start zoning anything in. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to come over to this connection over here. I want to level it out so that it's right level with that. Yeah, I think that's probably good. And then what we're going to do is zoom out and identify a good area to get it over here. And one of the cool things that I would like to do is get an island. Well, one of the things you want to pay attention to is water sources. So if we're going to get over here, we want to make sure that we're not going to hit this water source at all. And the second thing we need to worry about is this route right here. So we want to probably have our bridge go this way. and we want it to avoid the water source. We're probably going to want to put an island like right in here. So if I right click right there, let's go ahead and put it like right here and just kind of see what it's going to look like in relation to that water source. So I think we kind of know our base already. We need to go this direction, which is okay. So we'll shift this that way, and then let's go ahead and just move this back a little bit. We don't really want to encroach on that water source. And so now let's come over here, and we want to bring this around to about this location over here so that it can jet off across towards. So we are going to bring this down and have it go all the way over to that road. We're definitely going to have to come back and kind of play with this and see what works. And so this would be a huge project. It would entail a lot of excavating, and it would be a really big project. One of the cool things, though, is whenever you do have large-scale excavation like this, they'll end up selling the commodities in order to help fund the project a lot of times. And so now we can grab our road, come all the way over here, and then have this follow around. And we want to make sure that as we get closer to this section, we're starting to turn towards that island. So we want to go like right about here, and I want to go up to about 2.5, maybe even 3. And the reason we want to do that is because it really helps with bridges in this game if you can kind of lift off the ground a little bit already. So we're going to go ahead and go all the way over, and then we are going to bring it down if we can, and then we are going to have this road slightly turn. We could potentially even have it go straight all the way across. Let's go ahead and check that out just to see. In most of my test builds, I had this turn, but I don't know if it would be entirely necessary for our purpose right here. And we only have about a 2.7% drop, which is pretty good. So I think we're actually going to place that. And we do need to be careful if we do get some sort of shipping in here. We're going to have to, be careful where we draw on this line. I think it might actually fit underneath there. It doesn't. So if we get some sort of harbor or whatever, we're going to have to extend that bridge. I'm tempted to even do it now because I think if they were to build this bridge, they would want to future-proof it. So I think it would be smart for us to, get this in here a little bit better. So I think we're going to go like right about here. And then let's go ahead and check out those shipping lanes and see if we're able to get this in here. Yeah, we are. Fantastic. And so that's going to really save us a lot of heartache in the future if we decide that we do want to extend our shipping lanes out into the harbor here. And a lot of times it's just things like that can really make or break your city in the future. And so you got to kind of be careful. And so we will raise that up, and then let's go ahead and create a connection. We're going to go right here and probably create a new freeway connection, but I want this to slope down. I don't want it to be too crazy. This is like 40 meters into the air, and so we definitely have to be careful. And I'm going to go the 4-lane undivided. We'll probably end up shifting this to a 6-lane. And you know what? Let's go ahead and check that out. I think this is going to be a huge hill. I honestly don't know if anybody's going to be able to make that, but I do know in some cities that have these big bridges like that, that it's just something that you just have to deal with sometimes. So if we go all the way out here, it looks like it's about a 4.8% decline, which actually isn't that bad. And then that way it actually does provide a little bit of a bridge in there too, which could be kind of cool. So if we level this out, and then let's go ahead and just dot this section a little bit, just go like that. I think we may even come back and clean that up a little bit better. But in that way, what we can do is grab our road and have this come all the way out to the highway now. And then I'm just going to throw in a pretty basic little intersection in here, nothing too crazy. Okay, and just a few seconds later I am finished. And it was kind of funny, as I was building the interchange, I was like, you know what, it'd be smarter if I just turned this into an undivided highway. And so I did. I turned this into a 4-lane undivided highway. I did end up keeping the bridge 4-lane, which kind of sucks. I think we may even potentially upgrade this to a 6-lane just so that we can get that higher speed, but I'm not sure exactly what the speed limit on these ones is. I think the 4 lanes are lower speed though. Yeah, so if we bring this, so it says 40. So if we shift this across, maybe if we upgrade this bridge, let's see what we're working with. I do like that it's a 4-lane though. I think that would be a little bit better. Let's go ahead and check it out though, just to see. So if we go like that, what is the speed on this? Yeah, so it's 60. We're going to have to do the 6-lane. It does kind of suck, but it's just going to be necessary for us. All right, and so now we have upgraded our bridge. And I actually really like the look of this bridge. I think it looks really cool. I like the cable stays. And it's going to really help us to increase that speed over here. It does look like we have a little bit of an issue over here. Not really sure how people are driving through that, but that does not look safe. So we are going to come back in here and redraw this in real quick. Let's go ahead and turn off anarchy just so we can make sure that this is going to come out appropriately. And voila, there we are. And then one of the cool things we can do with this, I don't even really need the ground piece. What we'll do is we're just going to go into shift terrain, and you can kind of see it's not going to really allow us to do everything on that one side because of the water. But then what you can do is just literally, I'm tapping the left mouse button and the right mouse button, and this is just manipulating the ground in a more organic fashion, like a way that a mountain would actually form. And right in the middle of all this, we are having a giant tornado outbreak. Like, look at this monster. This is huge. Look how big that tornado is. He's like casting a whole shadow over our area. And so this is going to potentially be a problem. If this ends up mowing through our downtown, it could cause billions and billions of dollars worth of damage. All right, so I think this looks okay. I kind of wish it was a little bit better. I think I may play around with it a little bit more. We have a couple of these little craters in there which don't look the greatest. And voila, just a few seconds later, I am finished. I think I'm still going to kind of play around with it a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of the overall appearance of this. I think it looks a little too artificial. But I think it does look cool. I think the bridge going over here provides some really good accessibility, especially since we did turn it into that undivided highway. And so now people would be able to get from here all the way over here without having to go through a city. And also it's going to provide access to this neighborhood. And so this does provide a couple little complications because of the height difference. And so what we're going to need to do is come over here and figure out how we're going to get down to this ground section over here. And this can be kind of tricky. And so you want to be careful with dealing with this stuff because it can really make your city not look as realistic if you end up doing something that's just really exaggerated or just kind of artistic looking, which, I mean, it can still look really cool. So don't let me put you down. If you want to do something crazy, man. I'm all for it. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty cool. And so we would like to have some sort of connection in here. I'm thinking if we go like right about here, what we can do is fill in this small little section in there. And I need to increase that string size. We'll go like this. And I want it to be level with the road. I feel like that is pretty important. Let's fill all this in. We don't want to get too crazy with this section. This would already be an insanely expensive project, but I would like to cut that across. Yeah, just to provide that access. Man, it's not the same level. I was hoping that was going to be the same level. It's not. But you know what we can do? Let's go ahead and just trim this back. We are going to meet up with that island, and then we will create a bridge that goes across. It's kind of thinking we were going to do a bridge already, but I was thinking it was going to be a little bit different than what this is going to give us. It actually looks kind of cool. I like the overall appearance of that. I think we can even go into move it and just kind of shift this a little bit. If we go into that, let's go ahead and extend that just a bit. Yeah, you know what? I like the overall look of that. I think that looks cool. And then that way, what it's going to do is going to provide us some accessibility over here, which is going to be fantastic. So let's go ahead and upgrade this now. And we are going to we're going to grab a 4-lane road and have this continue on, but we need it to come over this. I'm going to turn on the contours because we want it to follow this. So we will go straight and then have it shift in. Fantastic. Look at that. I do kind of wish that we could upgrade this. I wonder how much this is going to mess us up because we already drew in so much. Let's check it out. I know this is a big change to the plan, but honestly, I think this is going to be really cool. So if we go like that, let's just see. Yeah, you know what? I like that it has the schooling right there with the big road. So I think that that's actually kind of smart. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and keep that, especially since we are going to provide some accessibility over here. So let's jump back into those landscaping tools, go into slope terrain, and we want to create a slope in here, but we don't want it to be too crazy. We want it to be as gradual as we can be. And then that way what we can do is actually have another step on this side that's going to allow us to build something up here and kind of have another layering effect over here. Yeah, this is going to be cool. So if we go just like that, yeah, and then we will connect this up. And this is definitely a lot. There's a lot of road building today. And just a few seconds later, I got it finished. And one of the ways that I can make this just look a little bit better is to actually do a couple of these little steps in here. I like this layering effect. I think it looks really cool if it's done well. And just a few seconds later, I got a small interchange in, and I want to do the same side interchanges like this. I think it really helps to kind of alleviate some of the congestion that can happen with intersections like that. And so now we will come all the way over here. We want this to continue on. And then we want to create another access point. So I'm thinking if we come up here, we want to extend this road. Let's go ahead and check that road out. We want to make sure we don't have any kind of crazy bumps. So we have a couple little bumps. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world to have that, but let's go ahead and trim it down. I think if we have this follow, it'd make a little bit more sense. I would like this to connect up with that other side, though. I think that would be a really nice connection. Go like this. Yeah, you know what, this is gonna make more sense. So if we have this road curve around, then we'll be able to connect it up with this road up here, which is going to be a really nice connection. And then that way, what we can do is actually have this kind of extend out and then follow the line, and then we don't have to worry about any sort of crazy drop downs that need to happen. And so I would like to also have a connection over here. I think that it's going to really help us to alleviate some of the traffic that's going to culminate from this intersection. I don't know if we're going to end up doing it this episode, just because I feel like we've already kind of bitten off a lot for this episode. But it is something that is in the works, especially once this side of the city really starts taking off. We're going to want to provide another access point. We can go ahead and get rid of that. We're not using that anymore. And then I think we're going to end up doing another key wire right there just to kind of make it look a little bit cooler. But I think for right now, this works out really well. Because of the elevation change over here, I did end up having to put in one of these kind of windy little roads. I think it looks cool. We may end up just extending this out to connect up. I think it's just going to provide a little bit of a better connection. It was really steep though, and that's why I was kind of having some issues. So like if we even look at this, so yeah, like 10%, that grade's just a lot. So like this would be really hard for trucks to make. I mean, a 10% grade is very big. And so you can kind of even see, I wonder if we could just create a slope on that to make it a little bit better. I was kind of playing around with this for a while, but yeah, if we maybe go like that, that could be better. Let's see. What I'm looking for is anything around like 6 to 7. Because even, yeah, 9, that's a lot. That is a very large grade. And so maybe let's see. I mean, it's just the nature of it. We're dealing with a lot of different variations in height over here. And so we're going to go ahead and leave it the way that it is. I think it looks cool. We're going to end up playing around with this, probably making it a little bit tighter to make it just look a little bit better than what it is. I think it's just a little too wide. And so looking at our high school over here with some of this layout, I'm wondering if maybe we can move some of this around to just make it function a little bit better. So if we go like that, I wonder if we can then have a slope come over this way. If we go like that, is this going to provide a little bit of a cleaner connection for this area? Let's kind of see. So we're dealing with a 15% grade. That is just insane. Is that what we're dealing with on this side too? How big of a grade is that? So that's actually, I mean, it doesn't look like it's that big. I think it's a little bit better on that side. I guess I just didn't realize how big of a grade that is. That would be insane for a lot of these people to make. So I think what we're going to do is curve it like how we had it before and then kind of see what we're dealing with. It's still very big. I mean, it's like a 10 to 15% grade. I wonder if we can move this around to just make this a little bit more functional. Okay, so after probably way too long, I am finally finished. And you can kind of see I'm getting a little bit of these tears over here. So I kind of flipped the script and decided to do retaining walls for a lot of the walls back here. And I changed the direction for a few different things. So I was kind of getting frustrated over the school, which led to me reconfiguring this and kind of turning it into a little island. I'm not really sure how I feel about this. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think. But I did do a little bridge with some access in here, and I just generally improved the accessibility for most of this area. And then I did expand a little bit. So I finished off this little mountain just to kind of, create the aesthetic for this road and also our bridge, and just to kind of create it, make a nicer looking area. But then I added in this road with a retaining wall. I added in some zonable area. And then I did a nice bridge going across just because I felt like this was going to be a nice little driving area. So now, like, if we jump out of here, let's choose this car and just kind of see what they are seeing real quick. because I think this is going to look really cool. Yeah, look at this. This already, man, I think this looks so cool. I don't know why we definitely got to fix that bump. That bump is a little too much, and this kind of waviness over here is probably not the greatest. But man, this would be a fun ride. I absolutely love bridges in real life too. This is something that I actually do look forward to when I'm going to like a new city or something, is to view new bridges. Like recently I was in Hong Kong and they have quite a few pretty cool bridges. And so you get to see like just a lot of fun stuff, like what engineers can do. And so where was that bumping up? Right here. So let's go ahead. We could just do it. We could repaint it. I think I'm just going to use the move it mod though. I think it's just going to be a little bit easier. Despite the trees, we'll just pretend like the trees are not a problem. You know, it's not happening all the time. And we definitely want to decrease our brush size. We want to unclick this, which is remove only matching type. And we want to, remove all these trees. We don't really want these trees there. No trees on the road, preferably. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. I don't think it's the best approach. And I think that's a little better. Is it still a little wonky? Sure. I kind of wish that they would have dealt with this end of texture kind of thing a little bit better. And so let's move on over here. I got a little crazy. I ended up using the retaining walls. I wanted to create a nice fun place that was going to be a central location over here. And so this is really how you can grab like a sense of place with some leveling. So like we have that bridge road comes back here, and then I just did some subtle layers. We'll probably end up doing some single family homes down here, maybe even do some beach stuff down here once we can get some assets in. And I didn't really throw anything in, but I did throw in a couple little parking lots up here as like an overlook. This actually reminds me of San Francisco. San Francisco has something like this, kind of overviewing the Golden Gate Bridge. And so I was like, you know what? I want to add something like that. And look at our kind of wonky little mountain over there. And so now we are at a place where we can start placing some stuff down. And man, we are still getting a ton of abandonment. I was really hoping that we are going to have some things, fixed. We definitely need to upgrade our internet. And one of the things I was kind of looking at is trying to place the server farm over here somewhere. Like I think it would just be a really good location for it. I think if we could get it back here somewhere, it would just be fantastic. Secondary location is right here. I think that this would be a good spot. And so I think as we start building this out, we'll probably defer over to that area and maybe move some stuff around. And so if you're ever getting this like weird tear in here, a lot of it just has to do with it being a corner. Retaining walls have a little bit of a hard time with corners like that. And so what you can do is go into this force retaining wall. And I think this is part of like the extra road tools or something like that. And then a lot of times it will get rid of it. Retaining walls are kind of tricky too, because it allows you to manipulate the ground underneath the road, similar to a regular key wall, but this kind of inverses it. And so it makes it a little bit trickier. There you go. It gets fixed just like that. You can come back through here and kind of re-click it. I don't know if it's like a problem with the ground or what it is, but it's something that seems to be reoccurring. And so if you do put in retaining walls, it's just something that you probably have to deal with. But I think that the overall aesthetic that you gain from the retaining walls, in my opinion, is actually better than the key walls that you get from the above roads. Like I like the key walls. I think they look cool. But I think that the retaining walls, just because you get such a flush little surface without a road above, I think it's fantastic. And so let's go ahead and move on to some zoning. We definitely need to get some single family homes in here. We don't really have a lot of single family homes that are close to the city. And so I want to utilize utilize the North American low density waterfront housing. And I know this isn't really waterfront housing. It's more just kind of like beach houses. And that's why I think that this is actually going to be a pretty good location for a lot of these, because this really kind of fits like the small house kind of vibe, And then we do need to sprinkle in some commercial assets in here. So we are going to probably put one right here. I don't think I'm going to utilize that full zoning though. I think I'm just going to do that. And then let's go ahead and do some homes off of this side. And so we'll place that like that. And then let's go ahead and do just a couple small little smidges of commercial in here. And we're not going to get crazy and do really big zoning. I don't really want that. I think that's probably good right there. We could go ahead and fill in this backspace as well. I think that'd actually probably be good to at least utilize all the available space. I'm kind of wondering now if we should do high rises of some kind right there, and then do single family homes down here, or just do single family homes for the whole thing. We'll defer to single family for the whole time. And then if you guys have any ideas, or maybe you're like, no, this isn't the best location for single family, go ahead, let me know. I love suggestions and stuff. Remember, we're all building this city together. We're trying to at least. So we'll go like this. I think we're going to remove this little section for a park. I think it would be a good location. Yeah, if we go just like that, fantastic. And then let's go ahead and do just a small bit, not small bit, actually quite a big bit of commercial space in there. Commercial space is important. This really allows us the ability to kind of walk around, and so that people don't have to drive to get like basic necessities like groceries and stuff like that. And so I left this space up here for us to be able to do a larger park. I thought it was just going to be a really fun location, a place like this guy in there. And then I think we'll end up going through and to find it and moving some of the decals and just turning this into a much larger area. I think that would just be a really cool spot. And then I was thinking the community pool down here. I think the community pool would be a nice little addition for this space. I like that it's kind of tucked in there too. I think that this would just be like a cool entrance, like, hey, let's go down to the pool and kind of enjoy our time and stuff like that. And so while we are waiting for these to grow, and let's go ahead and move over to one of these other roads. And I'm thinking for this one, I wonder if we should get some apartments. I think some apartments would be good. So if we avoid that one road, let's go ahead and just do apartments all the way down. And then we can kind of go back and see if we need anything else. Let's see if we can actually get, so we have the Polaris Suites. So residents enjoy smooth. Let's go ahead. Let's try it right here. Let's just check it out. You know what? I think that's actually a pretty cool building. I like that it's not obstructing the view of the university either. I think over these single family homes, it's going to provide a pretty cool little look. Is it great that, you know, such a large building is right next to these? Not really, but it is something that you do tend to see in cities. And so I'm not going to sit here and say that it never happens. So we will just do this temporarily so that we can get our full zoning off of here, since that is super important for us. Let's go ahead and bring this back just so that we can get a little more zoning off of that. And I think we may even put in a path back here. I kind of like that goes like that. So if we grab our slope tool, let's decrease that brush size and let's come all the way back here. And I'm thinking if we go just like this, yeah, because this is gonna do multiple things. So it's gonna provide access to that university, but it's also gonna provide access to our residents in the area. And so this is gonna be a huge amenity for them. Like, hey, you can walk around. It's a green path. We're definitely gonna go through and fill in a lot of the rest of these with green paths too. I think that would just be really cool. Kind of looking at this space, I think that this would be a good commercialized location. So if we were to go into our roads, let's grab a small parking lot. I'm thinking maybe we'll put it in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go just like that. And then let's look at our commercial zoning. Let's go ahead and go, let's go all the way back. Why not? So we'll go just like that. And it looks like we obstructed one row of zoning. So I'm going to actually move this over one. And then what it's going to do is it's going to allow us to kind of fill that in. And then that way we can remove these and get the full zoning, which is awesome. I think we could even do some commercial zoning off of this as well and have it look cool. And so if we go just like this, we could probably even do maybe like mixed use or something in there just to see what it gives us. I'm not a huge fan of putting mixed use right here just because it's definitely going to bog down this a little bit, but I think it could be a nice look for the area. So we'll let those grow in and then we can always come back and kind of brush them up. It does look like we're starting to have a little bit of electricity issues. I was having this in my test builds as well. So I think what we need to do, we are going to dezone this. And let's pause real quick because these people are going to get pretty upset. We're going to go ahead. Let's delete this, and I think we're going to delete the road all the way back. And I know I detailed this initially, and so it's kind of sad to see some of those details go. And then let's go ahead and do a small transformer station. These are important, and you do see them kind of sprawled around cities. Like they're not just in industrial zones. And so let's make sure that it is getting coverage. It is fantastic. Let's go ahead and jump out of underground view. And then that way what we can do is actually start expanding some of these other roadways. We are going to go ahead and put a lot of our office space back. That was a lot of office space we deleted. And so I really don't want to get too crazy with that. And I think we're going to end up putting in some low density commercial just to kind of satisfy some of that demand. Having low density commercial kind of sprawled around your high density area is pretty important. So I think as we're over here, let's go ahead and expand this section, this corner right here. Yeah, if we go like that, it's going to give us a nice layering effect. And you know what? I think this looks really cool. I like this look a lot. I like that it overlooks the the buildings too. All right, and so moving on from there, we have provided some pretty good housing. Let's go ahead and check out down here. So I was thinking for this section, it would be good for us to maybe get some higher density uses. It's definitely going to block a lot of the view. So I wonder if maybe we should get some of the higher density uses in the back. So I wonder if we do this, how crazy is it going to look if we just kind of drop that in there? And then let's go ahead and remove just a couple of these. We are now a thriving metropolis. Congratulations. The city is coming along nicely. Our rewards, 5 million simoleons, which at this point money doesn't really matter. We got 17 more development points and 36 more tiles. And so let's go ahead. I don't know why we're not getting any zoning on this side. It is because it is a bridge piece. Let's go ahead and go like that. And then we need to fix this. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be the only way to have it curved. I wonder if it did it over here too. It did. So it looks like we're going to have to fix that as well. So let's go ahead and check this out again. We're going to do high density. Let's do some commercial over here just because this would be some nice access. This would be a really commercialized zone. And then let's kind of mix in some apartments in there and just kind of see what grows in. I think for this section, we are going to do some commercial uses. And then let's go ahead and do, we might actually just do apartments this whole section. Yeah, I think it's just going to make sense for that. Man, we really got a lot going. Let's see if we place a bunch of mixed use on this, what it looks like. It's going to mess up our water, but honestly, I'm not worried about it because we can always come back. We got the iron press building. So a new signature building available. I'm guessing we got that from the mixed use. Let's go ahead and place this all the way back there. And then what I'm thinking is we will grab our level terrain tool and follow this across. I would like to get a road on the backside if we were going to do like a boardwalk. Yeah, you know what? I think this looks awesome. Let's go ahead and shift some of these to the European assets. And then what we'll do is actually do a road across. I wonder if we could actually have it go straight. I think that could actually look cool. So if we do, because I'm thinking this curve, if we have this kind of cut across, we'll still have it at a curve, just not as pronounced. So if we go just like this, these are the things that I try to look for whenever I'm building out a city is like, all right, how can I make it look just a little bit better? Like, and just a few seconds later, I think this looks fantastic. Now all we're going to do is upgrade this to our quay wall so that we can get that lovely kind of dock beachfront, waterfront effect. We definitely want to make it so that people can kind of walk up here, and it would just be a really nice place to kind of enjoy and just have a good time. We could probably even turn this into a pedestrianized road. I think that could probably be good. I don't really use the pedestrianized roads enough, and so this could definitely be an opportunity where it's like, let's use this. And just a few seconds later, I got it drawn in, and I want to provide just a couple small connections in here. I think that looks pretty good. I kind of wish this one was a little bit better off. I wonder if we can find a better connection for this. Yeah, if we go right here, I feel like this is probably going to be a little bit better. Yeah, if we go like that. And then that way, what we can do, let's actually do a small bit of high density commercial off this backside, and then this will actually turn into like a walking district, which is going to be really cool. Let's go ahead and remove this small bit of zoning over here. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. This is going to look really cool. And so I'm looking at this area right here. I think we could definitely get some high density uses in here. So I wonder if we could get, like if we get this, let's go ahead and get rid of some of these. We'll go just like that. And we definitely need some trees. This is missing trees pretty badly. But overall, I think this is looking pretty good. I think we got a lot of zoning in here. We got a lot going on. We definitely need to get trees. Trees are probably the biggest thing. Like there's just a lot of empty space. And then I think that I like the look. I kind of want some taller buildings in here, either that or to just make these smaller. I feel like these kind of stand out. Like they're just a little too tall right next to that. Like we would want to have something next to them to kind of make them look a little bit smaller. And that's what I was thinking, like if we could get some taller buildings in here, potentially even just a couple like high rises. So like if we did this and then we do need to go through and delete a lot of these too, which is kind of sad, but it's just going to help us to capture a more unified look, just to kind of have it scattered around with tall buildings rather than having all the tall buildings kind of stacked in there. And so I think this looks pretty good. We got some schooling, we got our university, we got a ton of residential. Our population's now ballooned over 100,000, which is crazy. What we didn't do is an elementary. That is a huge problem. Let's go ahead and place one right there. We definitely need to get one over here as well. I completely forgot about schooling though. Man, I knew it. This is, it's something that I tend to forget about sometimes. And I know you guys see it, but it's just how it goes. Maybe if we go like that. I mean, is it ideal? Not really, but I think I can kind of dress that up to make it look a little bit better. All right, so I think that looks good. We got elementary access. We got our fire department. We got a police department. We definitely need to get some postal service. So let's come in here. We're just going to add in a couple. So we'll go right there, right there. Let's go right there. We'll have this one follow this way so that it's kind of off the freeway. And then we'll have this one kind of do the same thing. That's pretty good. We definitely need to increase our serviceability. I'm thinking if we could add in like a post office over here, this would just be amazing if we could. It's a big building, and so I honestly don't know if it's going to happen. I wonder if we can maybe bridge a connection in here. And you know what? It looks okay. Is the ground a little kind of wonky? It is, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I think we may even just remove that. Get rid of these. Let's go ahead and get rid of them all. Yeah, that looks a lot better. I think we'll even let's just get rid of that road. I think during the detailing time lapse, I may come through and kind of redraw that in. I definitely need to play around with a few of the roads just to kind of clean them up, make it look a little bit better, kind of adjust these buildings a bit. And you can see we are definitely having some traffic issues over here. So I think what we'll do first and foremost, let's upgrade this to 2 lanes just so that we can get the people who are not trying to follow people to the new area into a different area. And then let's upgrade this to a roundabout so we can keep that traffic going. It's going to really help us out a lot. And then we can remove the lights off of these 2 intersections. And overall, I mean, that right there should help out a ton. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see. Let's just check it out for a minute. So it looks like pedestrians are causing a lot of the traffic jam over here. This is definitely something we're going to want to pay attention to. I think we're going to end up doing, look at all these taxis. That's just crazy. So we definitely need to get a bus line coming back here. So we need to create our shelters first. We are going to come this way. Let's do a shelter right there. Let's come over here, do a shelter. Come all the way over here, especially since this is going to be a nice commercialized district. Do one right there, come over here, and then what we're going to do is come this way, turn, go up here, let's go past our elementary, and then we're going to go in front of the university. We're going to stop in front of the high school. We will come all the way down here. Let's provide just a couple little stops, and then I think we're going to go in the opposite direction just so that we can have kind of a loop A, loop B kind of situation. And then that way, if anybody needs to get to a stop just before them, they don't have to ride all the way around. They can get there a little bit faster. They should really help out with the taxis too, getting all the taxis from out of town. All right, and so I think that is probably good. Now what I'm going to do is just draw in our lines, follow our little bus stops, have it go all the way around, and then we can kind of check out its usage once it's all laid out. All right, so now all we're waiting for is for our buses to populate. Let's go ahead and check out our new lines, which is going to be this 12 and 13. Let's go ahead and change those colors to magenta. We'll probably go both magenta. And then that way we can already see one of them. The first one is getting some people waiting already, which is awesome. This has got 26 passengers, 34. This one's got 45, 24. Man, these ones so 58. Let's see where these are. Yeah, so this is these are gonna get packed. We're definitely going to need to add in a metro here soon because look at this. We're already getting a lot of usage, but this is really going to help cut back on those taxis and help alleviate a lot of that traffic. We really did a lot. I'm excited to kind of wrap this all up with some detailing. Once we get these trees and stuff in here, kind of decorate this coastline a little bit more, it's just going to look a lot better. All right, so I think I'm going to jump into a detailing time lapse and just kind of wrap all this up, get some trees in there, make it look a lot better, get rid of a lot of these empty spaces. I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you on the other side. Okay, and so after quite a while, I am finished. There still is quite a few things that I want to do, but honestly, I feel good about where it's at right now. I did kind of leave this space empty though, and it was kind of funny. I didn't even realize it until I was sitting here hitting record. I was like, why didn't I do anything here? So I think what I'm going to do is put in some mixed use there and just kind of see what comes in. And so I did end up doing kind of a raised platform with some retaining walls over here with a little shopping center. I thought that this was just going to be a nice little touch for here. Did a big parking lot and a nice entryway, and this actually kind of reminds me of a big shopping center in Las Vegas that I kind of liked with the big wall. I thought it was always kind of cool. And then I even did like this little kind of park asset in the corner, though the walls keep disappearing. And then I added in a large freeway on-ramp, off-ramp interchange kind of access over here because I wanted to kind of alleviate some of the pressure from this access point. And so now anybody who is going directly to this downtown-ish kind of area or uptown can access it from the freeway. It does look like we have an issue over here. It looks like a building collapsed for some reason. And I think overall this looks really cool. I like the appeal of this. I like our little main street, though it does look like we may have some crime problems. And then I like that we got this little parking lot with this little viewing point. I did end up keeping this low density in the back, like maybe these would just be mansions or really expensive homes. Though I did end up changing all of this to medium and high density because I felt like it just looked a little bit better. Like the low density, I think looked a little bit weird. And I think overall we did a great job. I like that we got this park in here. I didn't really add in too many custom assets to this side. I like that we got this little main street. I think this looks really cool. So now like if we jump into like third person view, we can kind of see just how a lot of this looks to people. And I think it looks really cool. I really like the appeal of it. I think that this whole vibe in here is just really fun. Let's go ahead and follow another car. We do get a little bit of weird stuff happening whenever we get near our retaining walls, but honestly, I still think it looks cool. I did end up adding in the server farm as well. Went over here, got rid of our little industrial park, and then ended up placing in the large server farm. I like that it's kind of blue. I think it's a cool looking building. I like that it's got some good details around the outside as well. And then I put in some office space and commercial, and then I created this access point in here just to kind of, again, relieve some pressure from our freeway up here and our access point down here. And so I did add in another small shopping center. And overall, I think that this looks really good. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoyed this episode, you will definitely enjoy the episode on your screen. And thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.